right now it's time for that time when we have our special guest.
Tonight's special guest is Eddie Lowe, one of New Zealand's best entertainers. Eddie has a special talent for the big emotional ballad, so much that some people call him the man with a tear in his voice. We welcome Eddie Lowe as our special guest on The Beat Goes On. Eddie Lowe, welcome to The Beat Goes On.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here, Jerry.
Yes, wonderful to see you.
Been a while.
Yes.
1972 or thereabouts.
72 was the last time we were on tour together.
That's right.
Remember those days, Eddie? Wonderful days, weren't they? It was the Joe Brown Country and Western Tour.
That's right. They were great. It was a great concept. The way we used to do it with the hay bales on the stage.
That's
and
right.
Just sitting around on hay bales, strumming guitars and a little campfire in the middle. And
obviously, out there's a wonderful love of country music, isn't there?
there was for that time, and of course, the talent was, with like the John Hawes and Paul Waldens and Peter Poser and of course yourself. And
always remember a wonderful song of yours, Help Me Make It Through the Night. You did a beautiful version in 1973, and I'm sure you're still doing a great version now.
Yeah, I was lucky to get that song. I was in Tahiti, and I was just sitting on the beach and heard this song on the radio by this girl, Sammy Smith, of course, Chris Christopherson's song.
Yeah.
And I rang Joe Brown and I said to him that I've got a great song. As soon as I get off the aeroplane, I want to go to the studio and put it down before the other one gets in. And and we were lucky enough to get that one out, and it was a big one for us.
What was the history with your eyesight, Eddie? How did it...
Well, my mother, my birth mother, died when she was 18. Just after having me. She had TB and German measles and what we call rubella, and that affected my eyes. I never considered myself having a handicap. I couldn't see till I was 12, after a series of operations. So, I couldn't see. Now I can see, so I don't think I got a handicap.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how much eyesight have you got now, Eddie, after the operations?
I've got quite a bit of sight now because on a good day I can see the sun.
Wow.
And that's quite a way away. But I have trouble with steps and things like that, but otherwise I get around pretty good.
And how much of the audience can you see?
None.
None of the audience because of the lights, or?
Well, both, I think, because of the glare and
But you can hear them and you can feel them out there.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of history, Eddie. Let's go right back to the beginning. You were born where and what year?
Yeah, I was born in. That way, I don't have to tell how old I am. I can just say I was born in 1943, so I don't actually have to say how old I am.
You won't mention that, yeah.
And and I went to school here in Auckland at the Foundation for the Blind in Parnell, and that's where I sort of started learning my music and formed my first band when I was 13, called the Three Blind Mice.
What's your first song that you can remember? One that you just that made you fall in love with music?
Everything you heard on the radio was great.
Yeah.
I grew up loving country music. Just listened to Gene Autry and Roy Rogers and Wilf Carter and those sort of people. And of course, then along come Elvis and Buddy Holly and all those sort of people. And so I've developed my style. I've basically stayed with country music because that's what's done it for me. So why change?
So you've spent your whole life now just being a full-time entertainer, haven't you, Eddie?
Yeah,
and
what a
great lifestyle it's been, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. Sometimes I guess you'll know when it's over because the people will let you know that too.
The telephone stops ringing.
Yeah.
So you formed the first band, and that was the Three Blind Mice. Great title. What happened after that?
Well, when I finished school, I basically went straight away into music, and we were playing in a little club in Grays Avenue called the Picasso.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't actually.
But John Rolls was in the band too, and there was a couple of people who owned a hotel in Melbourne and they were looking for some entertainers to take back, and they took John and I because at that time we were singing Beatles songs.
Wow.
So we went over there as the New Zealand Beatles, you know. Oh, yeah. You know. And we had the Beatle wigs and Beatle jackets and all sorts of things, you know. Walked into this hotel, and John said, "You wouldn't believe who's playing the drums." It was our drummer who was playing for us at the Picasso in Grays Avenue, Trixie Willoughby.
Yep.
So anyway, he got us up to sing the song, and of course, a couple of days later, we were in the band.
Mm.
Yeah. So that.
And it's just really just snowballed.
Just fell in, yeah. We were actually called the Ding Dongers, you know, but not a very classy name.
Yeah.
But we auditioned for the Miller's Circuit. There was a big circuit in Australia. The Miller's Brewery had the biggest circuit, and if you got on the Miller's Circuit, you had it made.
Yeah.
You were in this Miller's hotel for 6 months, then you go to another one, then on, and it's a big circle, you know. And we auditioned at a hotel called the Sundowner Hotel. And we auditioned at this hotel. There was just 2 groups auditioning that day, and we got the job.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the other group. They were called the Bee Gees. I don't know if anything happened to them.
Is this a true story?
Yeah, that's a true
the other
story.
group was the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
I never ever heard what happened to them. I lost in obscurity, obviously.
A couple of years in the Sundowners. That's why we changed our name to the Sundowners,
Yeah.
because of the Sundowner Hotel. And John went solo, and you know, went over to England, and good things happened for him there. And then I joined the Maori Quintickies, and which is where I started touring, coming back to tour in New Zealand for Joe Brown, doing the Miss New Zealand shows and his country and western shows.
And that's where I saw you in 1973.
Yeah,
we were
with
on
the
that same show
Quintickies.
together.
Yeah. Well, Joe Brown actually said to me that if I ever thought of leaving the group, you know, and being a solo artist, I said, no, I wouldn't be confident enough. You know, he felt sort of secure in the group.
Yes, you do, don't you?
But anyway, we tried a recorded Crying Time, and I said, if this goes off, well, I might consider it, and well, it did. So I became a soloist in '69.